Hi everybody, it's Tess with the Paper and Ink Spot, and today we are going to make the second card in our masculine card series. So, alright, now honestly, who doesn't need help with a masculine card? You know what I'm talking about. Okay, so everybody stick with me. And I'm going to turn this camera around and we are going to get to making card number 2. All right. Yay! Don't go anywhere. Hi, everybody. I'm back. Now today, like I said, we are going to do card number 2 in our masculine card series, and I'm really super excited because, you know, guys like to get cards too. They really do. All right, so what I'm gonna do is start out by telling everybody what you need if you want to make this card along with me. Now, first of all, you will need our field journal stamp set. And then you will need the Happiest of Birthdays stamp set, some acrylic blocks to mount your stamps on, or the Stamparatus. It's up to you. Memento Tuxedo Black ink, some metallic gold pearls, dimensionals, Tombow glue, the braided linen trim, and you'll need about 8 inches of this. Then you need some Stampin' Blends, and whoop! Did you see that jump right out of my hand? All right, so we need bronze. We need cinnamon cider in light and dark. We need the dark daffodil delight. And we need old olive in the light and dark. Pair of snips. And the cardstock. This is just scrap paper, and y'all gonna need a piece of this too. All right. So for the cardstock, you're gonna need a piece of crumb cake, and that is going to be cut at 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches. So it's basically a half a sheet of cardstock. You're gonna score it at 4 1/4 and fold it over. Easy peasy, okay? Then you're going to need a piece of DSP. I'm using Gilded Autumn, and in the Gilded Autumn DSP, you're going to choose your favorite color, and then our favorite color, let me rephrase, your favorite pattern or design, okay? I'm picking this one because I really like all these leaves. And I think they're very manly because they remind me of the woods, you know, like hiking and maybe hunting, woodsy kind of thing, right? All right. So in the Gilded Autumn, you're going to cut this 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, okay? And then you're going to take it, and on your right-hand side of this piece of paper, because you want to keep your pattern matching up, you're going to cut a 1 1/4 inch strip, all right? So make sure you do it on the right side of your DSP. To the right, to the right. Okay. Now for your layers, you're going to need a piece of old olive cardstock in 3 1/8 by 4 1/8. Then you're going to need some early espresso in 3 inches by 4 inches. a piece of Very Vanilla cardstock in 2 3/4 inches by 3 3/4 inches. Okay? And then, last but not least, you're going to need some cardstock for your sentiment. Now, I used the Stitch Rectangle die, and I used the smallest die to cut this out, just to add a little stitching detail to my sentiment, okay? But you don't have to do this, all right? Now, listen up. If you don't have the Stitch Rectangle die, I will suggest you get it because it's awesome. But hey, if it's not your cup of tea, just cut a piece of Very Vanilla 1 1/4 inch by 1 1/2 inches, okay? And then you're going to take a scrap of your old olive and you're going to cut it 1 1/4 inch by 1 1/2 inches. And as you can see, that's going to layer up beautifully. Voila. Okay? All right. So that's what we need. Now, y'all gather up your supplies, okay? And come right back and we'll get started. So let's get started putting our card base and our layers together, and then we'll do the stamping, okay? So now your card base, which is your crumb cake card, what you're going to do with that is you are going to take this front flap right here. See your card? This is your front flap, and you're going to cut a 1 1/2 inch strip off of that front flap. So this is the way it opens, like a book, and you're going to cut a 1 1/2 inch strip off, okay? And you can keep this or you can toss it, your preference. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to take our Gilded Autumn DSP and we're going to cut a 1 1/4 inch strip from that. But you're going to keep this because you're going to need it, okay? So we're going to take the total paper and we're going to cut the strip. If you're using a pattern paper, be careful, y'all, because you need the strip to be on the right-hand side of the pattern paper, because look, it's going to go down right here. You see that? It's going to go down right here. And then your other piece, your bigger piece, is going to go down next to it, okay? So you're going to want to make sure, if it's a pattern paper, that you can match it back up like this, okay? So I'm going to take my Tombow and I am just going to start gluing my layers down. Now the beauty of Tombow, you don't need a lot of glue. So we're going to take it and we're just going to center it right down on our cardstock. Just kind of like that. I love Tombow because you can move it around and it's it doesn't really set for like a few minutes, right? And I love that. So it gives you a chance to kind of move that paper around if you didn't line it up just the way you want it, right? Okay, now we're going to glue this one down. And we're going to glue this one down right here. And we're just going to match it up. So when you're just like glancing at this, it's going to look like that's just one whole sheet kind of glued across the front. But then it's like, surprise! Voila! Right? Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our old olive piece and look, you're going to eyeball this in the middle. And now remember, you're not going to put glue on the whole back piece, because if you put glue over here on this right side underneath, you're going to glue your card shut. Now, you don't want to do that, because you want to write something nice in there to this man or to this boy that you're going to send this card to, okay? So now we're going to, whoop, that just jumped out of my hand. So we're going to put some glue on here, just like that. And I'm just going to eyeball this. I'm not going to get all technical or anything because I'm having fun. And if I got to be all technical and perfect, well, that's just not going to be fun for me. But you do you. That's the important thing. Okay. So now I've got my old olive glued down. Now on the early espresso cardstock, you can put glue over the entire back of it, because that is going to go down right on top of the old olive, just like this. Okay. And then this is our stamping piece. This Very Vanilla is our stamping piece. And it will be layered like this. But first we have to stamp on it and color it with our blends. And then we'll be ready to put the last part of our card together. Okay? Now, I'm going to show you a little trick here. Okay? When you're stamping with an itty bitty piece of cardstock like this, I got a trick on how to get it just perfect, okay? Actually, I'm going to get rid of that. So, we're going to ink this up. And I hope it does turn out perfect, because usually it does turn out perfect for me. But, you know, now that I'm making a video, right, something will happen. But okay, so we've got our stamp there. We've got our cardstock. We're going to come right down on top of the stamp. Push our cardstock down. We're going to get this extra block. And just come in like that. Press down. And we're going to pull that off. And voila! Can y'all see that? Yep, that's pretty much perfect. Right there. Okay. So now we have our sentiment stamped. And I am very pleased with how that turned out. So that's a little trick, y'all. You can do that too. And trust me, it is not hard to do. Alright? Now I'm going to put my sentiment down on the old olive layer here. And our sentiment is ready for our card. Okay? So, now we're going to get our Very Vanilla in. And we're going to get ready to stamp and color. Now, what you want to stamp first is this image right here, which is the image of the green plant with the two little flowers at the top. Now, my personal preference, I don't like these roots down here. So guess what? I'm just not going to ink that up. So when I go to ink this up, I'm just going to kind of eyeball it from the side, just like that, see? And I am only going to ink up the part of the stamp that I want, which is right there. Okay? Now we're going to come in and we're going to go over to the side because we want to have room for our little chippy. And if you don't know what a chippy is, it's a chipmunk. And that's what we're going to stamp next. So yeah, there's our plant. I love how that turned out. Now if you notice, this little chippy has some ground under him. So I'm going to angle this a little to make sure that ground is straight. But you know what? You can do it however you want, okay? Once again, this is going to be your card. So you do what you want to do with it. For me personally, I like to just get that a little straight if I can. And there, I'm going to give him a little press. And there's my Chippy. Yay! I am very pleased with the way that image stamped. Okay, now we're going to cover up our ink because, y'all, you do not want to get ink all over this after you've stamped it. And you don't want to get your ribbon in it or anything else in it, because that will be no fun, all right? Okay, so now what we're going to do, we're going to take our blends, and I'm going to take my dark Daffodil Delight, and I'm just going to put a little color up here in this flower. You see this flower up here? I just want a little color. And I chose yellow because, to me, yellow is a happy color. And I just like it. I like yellow. Alright. And yellow happens to go with the paper that we're using too, the cardstock. So, there you have it. Okay. Now we're going to take our Old Olive, and I'm going to use the dark. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put some dark lines here. I'm just following the ink on the stamp. This does not have to be exact. So no worries if you mess up a little, okay? That's the beauty of a handmade card. It's handmade. It's not going to be factory perfect. What it is going to be is something beautiful that the recipient is going to be like, wow, this person took the time and effort to make this card just for me. That is what makes a handmade card something special. Anybody can go to the store and buy a card, right? You know what I mean? But making it with your own two hands, now that's special, okay? You remember that. That's special. All right, so now I'm going in with the light Old Olive, and I am just going to color in the rest of the leaf. All of these leaves. See? Nothing, you know, nothing hard. Just really easy peasy if you ask me. Especially when you're using the blends, because you get two blends in a pack. You get the light and the dark. And of course, they coordinate. And you can very easily blend colors if you want. Or you can kind of use them like I am, just to kind of give a little dimension to whatever it is you're coloring. So it's up to you. It's up to you and how much effort you want to put into it, okay? I think this looks beautiful, and I'm putting very little effort into it, I have to be honest. All right. So there. I am really pleased with how this looks. And now we're going to color our little Chippy here. And y'all, I had a chipmunk when I was a kid. It lived underneath our front porch. And it was so tame, it used to come and eat out of the palm of my hand. I'd be like this. And it would come, it would jump right up here, and it'd just sit there and eat. Eat, eat, eat. It was amazing. I love that little Chippy. Yeah, and of course I named him Chippy, you know. I guess I wasn't too imaginative with my name choice, but Chippy just seemed to suit it. I guess that's why I named it Chippy. But so I'm going to take my bronze and I'm just going to kind of color over some of these darker lines to get a little color in there. And you guys, don't forget that chipmunks have little like white streaks on the side of their little bodies. And they also have some white on their little faces as well. So I'm going to make sure that I leave some white. Okay? Now I'm going to go in with my dark cinnamon cider. And I'm just going to put a little color on top of that bronze. Just because chipmunks do have a lot of red in them. So I'm kind of going in with a little bit of the red. Okay. Get a little red in here. I think I'll make this a dark red. Maybe this one too right here. Okay. And then we're going to put a little red around his face. Little red in his ears. Isn't he cute? This is just such a cute little stamp set. I really like it. Really like it. When I saw it, I was like, oh, lordy, lordy. I got to have it. Okay, now I'm going to go in with the light cinnamon. And see, I'm just going to color in these areas here that I left white. Being careful not to color this stripe in unless you don't care if your chipmunk looks realistic. I mean, really, you could color this chipmunk blue if you wanted to, right? It's up to you. It's your chipmunk. But if you do want to make sure he looks a little more natural, you're going to want to leave some white in him, okay? So, once again, totally up to you. It's whatever you like. There. Okay. I am pretty happy with the way this little Chippy turned out. And I might even, I might darken up his little tail a little bit more. Right here. Oh, yeah, I like that. All right. There we go. And see, you can put layers down. And you can really change those colors just by using a little bit of layering with your color. Do one layer and then let it dry a little and come back in and do another layer. Now we're going to do the ground because we don't want them just kind of hanging there, right? We don't want our plant just kind of hanging there either. So I am just going to do this. Gonna just kind of go over these darker lines that our stamp actually gave us. Just like this. Okay. And then I'm going to come in with my light Old Olive. And I just kind of scribble a little more color on there. Like this. Okay. Just like I said, give it a little interest with the, between the dark and the light. There. So once again, this does not have to be perfect. You're just wanting to get a little, color down to, you know, so your Chippy doesn't look like he's floating in space. Because that would be weird. Right? Okay. So there we have it. All of our coloring is completed. And now we're going to take our braided linen trim and we are simply going to wrap it around our Very Vanilla cardstock here. and we're going to tie a little knot. And personally, for a masculine card, I don't care to tie a bow. That's why I'm doing a knot. But if you want to tie a bow, then you go right ahead, okay? Because it's your card. Now here we go. I'm going to try to get this tied with my fingers here. You might need to cut yourself a little bit longer of a strip. It just depends on whether your hands work real well or not. I have RA, y'all, and so yeah, my hands don't always work right, but that's okay. I'm a happy gal anyway. Nothing gonna get me down for too long, right? Okay, so there we have it. And now we're going to take our sentiment, and I am going to line that up on this side of my card. And I am just going to, yeah, I like it. I actually like it right there. I don't know. Should we put it up a little higher? Let's see. Yeah, I kind of like it right there. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, actually I'm going to move my knot out of the way a little bit more, like right there. And might actually even tighten my little knot up, because my little knot is kind of loose. There we go. Better. Okay. Yeah, that's much better. Yay. Okay. Now what I'm going to do too is I'm going to really kind of trim this knot down a little, because I don't want it hiding too much of my stamped area there. And there we go. That looks nice. Okay, and then we're going to get this on our paper. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some dimensionals and I'm going to pop this up. Okay, I'm going to use these little dimensionals right here because I want to leave a space in the middle of this sentiment to put around this ribbon so it doesn't sit on top of the ribbon and get all wonky. You know what I mean? We don't like wonky. I want it to just sit there just kind of nice and normal-like, not wonky. Alright, there we go. Okay, I'm going to peel these off. You guys, I'm not one of these gals who takes their pick a tool thingy and just like choom 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 gets these backings off. I don't know. I'm just not there. Okay, so I'm doing it the old-fashioned way. I'm just using my fingers. All right. Now there's our happy birthday. Gonna get the happy birthday lined up where I want it. And I'm gonna kind of put it right in the middle of the ribbon or the trim, whatever you want to call it. Our braided linen trim. And make sure I get it on there straight. There we go. I like it there. Okay. Now what we're going to do, we're going to put some dimensionals on the back. I love dimensionals, you guys. Man, I think it's awesome when you can pop certain elements of your card up and just really add a lot of interest to the card when you do that. I tend to use a lot of these dimensionals because I don't want my card to get squished, especially if I'm mailing it. Because, you know, you spend time making this card, putting it together, all of this good stuff, you want to make sure that it arrives in one piece. You know, you guys, one time I was mailing my friend, I have a friend named Susie, and she lives in Scotland, and I mailed her a letter with a few little goodies in the actual letter, in the envelope. And you guys, it came back to me like 2 weeks later, maybe even 3 weeks later. I don't know. It was a long amount of time, I thought. But it came back to me in a plastic bag in like 10 pieces. I was really shocked. I couldn't believe it. And everything was intact. I mean, everything was in that little plastic bag, but for some reason, the card and everything, it just got like shredded. It was crazy. But anyway, I digress. There is our card front on, and now we got one more finishing touch. Because just because this is a masculine card doesn't mean we can't add some pearls. Look at those gold pearls. Now they're going to just look beautiful on this card. So I'm going to put one right there. And I think I'm going to put one right there. And there you have it. Beautiful masculine card. I mean, this is awesome. I think any man in your life or any boy would love this. Who wouldn't love that, right? And then you open it up and oh, the inside, it's nicely decorated. Wow. Yeah, and so the crumb cake is light enough. You can use a black pen and you can write your message. Actually, you can write it all the way. You could write a letter in here, y'all, if you wanted to. Just saying, okay? But there you have it. Our card number 2 in our masculine series. Okay, everybody, that's it for today. Come back soon, and I will have card number 3 in our masculine series. Okay? Be kind and stay safe in the world. Bye.